All right, today we're going to talk about how to solve a system of equations using elimination. Elimination is pretty similar to substitution, except for the first step is a little bit different. So step 1, we're going to write both equations where like terms are aligned. Step 2, we're going to combine our terms to eliminate one, and then solve for the variable left. Step 3, you're going to substitute your answer back into either equation and solve for the other variable, just like we did with substitution. So let's dive right in and look at example 1. So example 1, we have 6y plus 4x equals 32, and 3x minus 6y equals 3. So if we look at step 1, we're going to write both equations where the like terms are aligned. So if you look right here, we have our y over an x and x over a y. So I'm going to want to switch those in the first equation. So instead of having 6y plus 4x, I'm going to rewrite it as 4x plus 6y so that I have my terms lined up. And then the second equation is 3x minus 6y equals 3. So if we look, we have a positive 6y and a negative 6y. Notice that those two terms are going to cancel out. So in step 2, when I combine my like terms to eliminate one term, I'm going to go straight down. 4x plus 3x, they're both positive. That gives me a 7x. And then positive 6y and negative 6y cancel out to leave me nothing. And 32 plus 33, or 32 plus 3 is 35. So I have 7x equals 35. Then I can just solve for x. Divide both sides by 7. And x is 5. Then I can move on to step 3. Step 3 is to substitute my answer back into either equation, so it doesn't matter which one I use. So just choosing the first one, we have 6y equals 6y plus 4x equals 32. So instead of x, I'm going to put in 5. So I'll have 6y plus 4 times 5 equals 32. 4 times 5 is 20. And combine my like terms. I'm going to move 20 to the other side by subtracting it. And that gives me 6y equals 12. Divide both sides by 6. And y is 2. So my solution here to this system is my x is 5 and y is 2. I can check this system to make sure that it works by plugging 5 in for x, 2 in for y, and making sure that it works out in either equation. So let's check it into both equations. The first one, I have 6 times y, which is 2, plus 4 times 5 equals 32. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 20. And 12 plus 20 is 32. So it checks out. Let's try it in the other one. I'll have 3 times x, which is 2, minus 6 times y, which is, let's fix that. Switch the x and y, so x is 5, minus 6 times y, which is 2, equals 3. So I have 15 minus 12, which is 3. So it checks out also. All right, let's go to example 2. In example 2, we have negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 11. 3x plus 7y equals negative 1. Step 1, we're going to write both equations where the like terms are aligned. In this problem here, both of my terms are already lined up. I have x over x, y over y. So they're in order, so I can go on to step 2. So I don't have to rewrite it at all. So step 2, I'm just going to combine my like terms to eliminate one term, then solve for the other variable left. So right here I have negative 3x and positive 3x. Those are going to cancel out for me and leave me with just a y. 5 plus 7y gives me 12y, and negative 11 minus 1, or negative 11 and negative 1 combine to make negative 12. Divide both sides by 12 to solve for y, and y is left with negative 1. Then in step 3, I'm going to substitute that back in for either equation. So we have negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 11. So instead of y, I'm going to plug in my negative 1 and solve. So I have negative 3x minus 5 equals negative 11. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. That leaves me with negative 3x equals negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 3 to get x by itself, and x equals 2. So our solution here is positive 2, negative 1. Now we need to check that to make sure that it works. So let's check it over here. And we have negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 11. And plug in our variables. So we'll have negative 3 times x is 2 plus 5 times negative 1 equals negative 11. Negative 3 times 2 gives me negative 6 minus 5. Negative 6 minus 5 is negative 11. So that one checks out. Let's try the second equation. We have 3x plus 7y equals negative 1. So I'll have 3 times 2 plus 7 times negative 1 equals negative 1. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 7 equals negative 1. 6 minus 7 is negative 1, so it also checks out. All right, you have 2 problems to practice on your own for tomorrow. Make sure you have your answers. These will be graded in class as your bell work. Have a great day.